I'm Michael Paluska. Offshore fish farms, are they a good thing for sustainable seafood or are they a big mistake? Well, it depends on who you talk to, and it is fueling intense debate right now. A pilot project off the coast of Sarasota is currently in the works, but people are fighting it. They believe the industrialization of our oceans is a bad thing for our community. Our oceans, places of wonder. Powerful, vast, and untamed, at times moody, then calm again. There is so much we don't know about them, and the question many are asking, are they the next frontier for farming? And should they be?
We've been in opposition since day one when it comes to these industrializations of our oceans.
I like to think of it more as an opportunity rather than a threat for the commercial fishing industries.
Neil Anthony Sims is the CEO of Ocean Era. He says the fish farm in the Gulf of Mexico would look similar to their operation in the Sea of Cortez, located between Mexico's mainland and Baja California. Sims tells me the Gulf of Mexico farm will be 45 miles southwest of Sarasota in water that's 130 feet deep.
We have to learn to be able to farm these ourselves in the same way that we learned 10,000 years ago to farm animals on land.
Not everyone sees it that way.
This is a test case for opening federal waters to private industrial fish farms, for giving away the public's heritage with no benefit to the public.
At a recent rally, environmental groups and commercial fishermen like Casey Streeter spoke out.
We're worried about genetically inferior fish getting into breeding populations. I mean, if you look at these fish farms all over the world, it's very well documented. We might be in the first phases of these fish farms in this process, but if you look in other countries and other places, they've had disasters that have happened.
Many also concerned about the use of antibiotics, red tide impacts, water quality, waste, and of course, hurricanes.
I'm currently doing waterway cleanup post-Hurricane Ian, and if we had these pins off Fort Myers at the time, I would be cleaning these pins up out of the mangroves. So I've seen what water does. Water always wins. And regardless of the design or how they think they're going to be able to protect against these extreme weather events, I just don't see it happening.
If a storm comes through, we'll be able to submerge at least 30 feet below the surface. So the storm will just wash over the top of it.
Sims tackled each question one by one.
So long as that you're in deep enough water, far enough out offshore, then there's going to be no significant impact either on the water quality. And we would not plan on using any prophylactic antibiotics in the offshore farm at all. Most of the red tide impacts are really close to shore, so we wouldn't expect it if it was out there. Now, if it is going to hit us out there, that's something that we would deal with at the time, and if there are mortalities, we'll remove them. Yes.
There is only one commercial fish farm in the U.S. located off the coast of Hawaii, operated by Blue Ocean Mariculture. In 2017, an endangered Hawaiian monk seal got inside a pen there and drowned. Officials at NOAA tell me they then teamed up with the company to study how those seals interact with offshore aquaculture and that there have been no reported deaths since. But that still raises another concern here locally.
We need to worry about our turtles and our marine mammals. They migrate, they move, they go to different depths, and they're going to have interaction with all these pins because they're going to do what they normally do and with a new obstacle in front of them that they haven't had to deal with.
These are the mamas and the papas.
Dr. Nicole Rohde is the program manager and senior scientist at Mote's Aquaculture Research Park, where they grow fish and plants together. A sustainable system Rohde believes is the future of food security.
We have to improve our domestic seafood supply. It's all imported, and that's going to be a challenge for us going forward if we don't expand aquaculture production.
Why do you think some people just don't want to get behind eating a farm-raised fish?
I think there's been a lot of misinformation that's been put out over the last few years.
We were with Mote researchers as the first batches of 20,000 red drum were released, going from the tanks to buckets, then freedom. If the pilot project is approved, red drum raised at Mote could help stock Ocean Era's offshore farm. helping answer questions about what happens if fish escape the pens.
The red drum that we release, their parents are completely wild fish. They are 100% wild genetically. So there's really no concern about them going back into the environment and becoming part of the population because they came right out of that population.
I was lucky enough to be a guinea pig for their products.
At Indigenous in Sarasota, chef and owner Stephen Phelps uses wild-caught and farmed fish for his menu. He says fish from Moat are some of the best.
And, you know, somebody gives me that redfish from what they were doing through that farming process, which is very unique, and a wild-caught fish, I'm feeling a little more confident eating the farm stuff because it's been babied, it's been watched all day long, and it's been in clean water.
Past 12 years since you've been in business, you mentioned local fishermen go to their grouper hold and there's nothing there. Has it gotten worse over the past 12 years?
That part's gotten really bad. You know, the red tide issues have put a damper on a lot of fishing in general.
Phelps recently visited offshore farms in Central America and supports those. As for the Ocean Era project, he is hesitant.
I mean, we're talking about a lot of different red flags here. I don't think the one that's being proposed right now is a good business model. I'd like to see some other organizations put some pitches in and see what happens with that.
Not here, right? Not here.
For now, it won't be here. The project is tied up in litigation, and it is anyone's guess what happens next.
The first one who gets it right here, then we should talk again. We could all get together and say, wow, you know, fish are great, haven't had any problems, now should we do one over there? And I think until that happens, it's going to be really hard to really understand what's going to happen around here.
In Sarasota County with photojournalist Reed Moeller, Michael Paluska, ABC Action News.